That old mate UN boss and what he was saying on American television today, this seems to be one of his favourite things to say. Roll the tape.
Let's face facts. The state of our planet is broken. Humanity is waging war on nature. This is suicidal. Nature always strikes back and is doing so with gathering force and fury. The central objective of the United Nations for 2021 is to build a truly global coalition for carbon neutrality.
Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah, okay. Bronwyn, a response to the boss of the United Nations, who I'm sure will be sitting in a hotel room somewhere watching a stream of what we're saying.
Oh, no, it's not. And let me tell you, their desire to make us all kowtow to the omnipotence of the United Nations, its tentacles are everywhere. When I was running for the president of the International Parliamentary Union, I attended a lunch where someone from the United Nations turned up at the lunch of 30 people and said it is your job as members of parliament to take what the United Nations wants and make your parliaments do it.
Wow.
My response was, Australia is a sovereign nation. We determine our policies, not you. There were a number of people at that table which absolutely surprised me who would go along with that line, but there were more that went along with mine. So I just found it absolutely amazing the lengths to which the United Nations will go to try and enforce what a particular brand of Marxism, which that Secretary-General has, wants to enforce on the rest of the world.
If you haven't written a book by this time next year, you have to tell me what those countries were, OK? It's up to you. I'm giving you a chance to have a hook for your book, but in the meantime, we'll keep talking about it. Joel, again, this idea, look, we all understand, we all want a cleaner, healthier planet, all right? We also understand that, 7 billion will become 8 billion, will become 9 billion at some point. But that means they need to be housed, fed, all the stuff I mentioned before, and that doesn't naturally occur. So I get it. We've got to do things slightly differently, and we can't, have had times where we've pumped crap in the air and crap in the water. We get all of this, right? But what do you think about what the UN is saying there about that essentially, we're at war with nature and nature is fighting back?
Paul, I'm not sure that Secretary-General Guterres will be watching Sky tonight, but he could be in a hotel room, and if he is, he'll have his air conditioning on and he'll be pulling a shardy out of the fridge, more likely powered by synchronous energy. But, he's a Portuguese socialist, and you'd expect him to hold those views. And you'd also expect the Guardian newspaper to be promoting him as the world's best expert because he's the Secretary-General of the United Nations. But that doesn't make him an expert on energy, and it certainly doesn't make him an expert on what we are doing here in Australia. The reality is that business across the economy, across the world, are not waiting for parliamentarians anymore to diddle on climate change. They're moving ahead of them. And since 1990, Australia's per capita emissions have fallen 40%. And the emissions intensity of our economy has fallen 63%. So business is moving. Society is moving. They're not waiting for government. They are doing these things now. And look, I wish Australia was doing a little bit more, but we're doing okay, and we're doing better than many others who, of course, many of whom are increasing their carbon emissions. But one thing is certain, the days should be behind us now when governments or political parties are looking at putting a price on consumers and a price on jobs to achieve what business is already achieving right across our economy.
Hallelujah. See, there's no QC doofuses here, mate. There's no Mark Dreyfuses to get in the way of that straight truth.